we go.
Hello everyone, this is John with Money on the Floor Currency Trader. Here we are back at it again. I was just going over the template. I just want to show everybody how to believe in the template. Sometimes people don't believe in what they see. We see it's a strong uptrend. We're above the golden trend, but still we fear it might be going down. We fear it might be going down. Fear it might be going down. And that is very understandable. That's what makes trading hard, because everything pulls back half or more. See, it pulled all the way back down. Gold will chase you all the way out of the trade. And really what it's telling you is you're in too soon. Because basically this is just a sideways market down here. And, oh, my dog's going crazy, sorry. So we got a sideways market down here. And we really want to stay out of this. But, we're traders. We want to get involved. We see everything has turned green. We have the bar. We have the arrow. We're above the half trend. It's starting to go up. It is moving up. But it's still the first couple ones is usually a trap. And look what it did. It pulled all the way back down and probably stopped you out. And then started going again, pulled all the way back down. So twice it tried to stop you out. So that's why the way I look at it is I try to start out with a very small trade. The reason for this is in case you do get hit with this, you don't lose a whole lot until it gets going. Once it gets going, this thing made nothing but money. But every time you tried to do it, it wouldn't let you do it. So, and we see we do have a triangle here, very easy to see this, and we know it's going to go into a megaphone. So if you understand at least that concept of it, you know that this is going to go up and down. So then you'd be a little more prepared for this attack, because by looking left, you know it's going to repeat over here what it did to the left. And if it does repeat this, it is going to stop you out. So be prepared for that. And if that's the case, that means your stop has to go down below the lows of these candles. Otherwise it's going to get you. It's going to go down and hit you. And that is a long drawdown if you're going negative, if you took too large a trade size. So your first trade, you want to do a smaller trade. That is the trick to it, a smaller trade. Now, I'm teaching this, but I'm also teaching myself. So I'm trying to teach you what I have learned to do so that I am better prepared for the trading. I mean, really, this is all this is. I'm just telling you what I have learned. And this is what I've learned is you have to go in small and have a bigger stop loss, have it down here below the other candles. Now, if it does go out and hit you, it was a small trade, and that's what you have to accept the loss. It did go your direction. It did make money. The idea is to survive the entry. Is to survive. That's the hard part. Gold is very difficult like that. We think, is this it? Is that it? So we're looking for a bar. We're looking for everything to go green. We're looking for the candle to go above the golden trend and start to go above the other candles. Now, as soon as it did, since we knew we're in a triangle, this next one whipped all the way back down. You think, well, is that it? Now we're going to, and this thing pulled all, I remember it pulled all the way back up, and I got in again thinking it was A-okay, and it pulled all the way back down and stopped me out again. So my own fault. I got stopped out once, twice, and then finally we started getting going. But the idea is we don't give up because we know this is a megaphone. It's going to break out. So we're looking for a breakout. And this is what I had this other trend line in, because it showed me this trend line when we're trading. And once that finally broke, then it was way to go. So the idea is that you get into your trade right here. When you get the red bar, the reason why we let the robot trade, and we also trade manually with the robot, is so that if we take a buy trade with the buy button or a pending order, doesn't matter, the robot will close it when this red bar happens. So it'll keep you out of trouble because it's saying it's pulling back. Now, it wouldn't have helped you for this wick here, because this was a wild wick. It was almost like a news trade. Things shot straight down. It was horrible. But you would have got in again or got in up here, and it would have closed your trade right away. So you're like, wait a minute, I just lost, and now you closed my trade right away. Then it went all the way back down, started back up again, the next trade. So you had one trade here, and then the next trade would have been when this bar happens. So if you be patient, you got to learn. I think the hardest thing in trading is patience. So if you have patience to wait for your setup, because this is how we trade, and if you're going to have this system, it's how you need to learn how to trade. And really, you need some coaching. You need to come into the trade room. You need to learn. You need to understand all these things. But I understand you just want to get in there and go for it and make some money. And when it's all green, get in. But I'm trying to tell you, you need to have patience. You need to wait for that bar, wait for everything to go green, see it cross above the golden trend, and then break that right there, and then you can get in. And then off it went, and it made nothing but money. And you wouldn't exit. Like this one here would have exited even on the 30. Right here, it would have got you out at this point. And then it would get you back in. and then it went up again, and then it didn't exit to you to over here till it started turning around. Now usually what we do is we go away from the 50, we go back to the 50. It's very important here. We went away from the 50, back to the 50, away from the 50, back to the 50, away from the 50, back. It's what we do. It's what this does as traders. So we're oscillating around this 50 moving average. So we're actually looking for a break of that 50, and if you waited just for that break and took it at that time, probably would have been the best trade. So really you had one trade away from the 50 down, this thing was done. Now you could have tried to trade all this and you probably lose your butt, because that's usually what happens. But if you trade it away from the 50 and then stop trading, when it broke the 50, bought again, and then you would have made even more money because you wouldn't have been dealing with these losses. Yes, we try to trade this, but really it's untradeable. This is more gambling than trading. Yes, it's scalping, it's one-to-one ratio, it's very difficult to make money, and you can walk away with some money in here. But the odds, since the odds are already against you, because when you get into a trade, we know that we lose faster than we win. We have all the cards stacked against us. They already know where our stops are. They know everything. They know where the majority are. So they're going to use that for liquidity. So it's very difficult to make money. But if you have patience and you only take the trades that go away from the 50 and that go away from the 50, you can take it back to the 50, but there was only this one trade that went back to the 50. After that, I would have left it alone, because then it was doing this crazy stuff. And yeah, I know it's going to go into a pinpoint and then it's going to start rocking and rolling again, but this is very hard to trade. So the idea is take your trade away from the 50, and then not till you get an arrow back. I don't think we had an arrow back over here. Let me see, sorry. No arrow there. So really there was no trade back to the 50 until we got that arrow, and that thing told us right away, this arrow told us, no, we're going back down. And we should have known that this was a triangle anyway, so we wouldn't have taken this trade, not even possible. And everything was saying sell anyway, so you should only be selling in here. So you don't even want to buy trade. I mean, everything down here is telling you only sell. You really got to go by the day chart. The day chart is going to say only sell. The rest of them are confirming only sells. What happens is we start to get a couple buys in here. It's because we get pullbacks, pullbacks, pullbacks. Everything is still selling until that point. We'll actually get into that for a minute, and it'll make some more sense. So really we're going to trade away from the 50. We're done. You can trade back to the 50, but this one didn't have a really good way back to the 50 till we actually had all four here. And then maybe you could have taken one of these back to the 50, but the closest you got was that one right here. Everything else would have lost money, and that's part of it. In the beginning you will lose money. That's why you trade smaller. Once you see it broke the 50, start going, that's when you start piling on the trades. That's why you got this button here. You set this for whatever size you want. Every time it pulls back, you're going to take another trade. So as it pulled back in, went back up, I take another trade, pulled back in, went back up, take another trade. So I have a few more trades going up, and then you will double and triple the returns that you get by trusting this system. And how do you know to trust it? By looking left, I'm telling you. So what you got to do to prove it to yourself is take this thing here and zoom out, or zoom out, yes, so zoom out, sorry, it's been a long weekend. And that's already probably far enough right there. So by doing this, just by looking at it, it doesn't matter really what time frame you're trading. This only works on the 5 minute all the way to the 1 hour. But it really doesn't matter which one you're using, because it's really all the same. The smaller it is, the harder it is to stay in the trade. That's the only thing. But you're still going to have the same crazy trades. Nothing changes. Let me prove that to you. So let's go up here and grab a trend line right here. And let's drop it like right in here where everything's green on that line right there. So we went all three green, so we can see that we were in a nice downtrend, and then from here we're a nice uptrend. But still, remember, the bottom's hard to trade, and we understand that. Now, all we got to do now is just go to the 5 minute chart. We'll do this. Let me see. Here we go. Let me find where it was. There it is. There's the same spot, and look, it's still all three green. The green did not change. So the buy was still, the uptrend was still here, but the craziness of the market's still there too. So you know, you still had your M, you had your M pattern. This was a really nice M pattern right here. You could have traded that alone down after it crossed the 50 and went down. Still in here, you want to take the buy away from the 50, away up, and then if you want to, you can bring it back to it. But you really had no sell trades. I'd probably stay away from all the sell trades in here, since this is, see, when I go back to the 50, it's got to be at least 3. Like over here, I don't really see 3. Like right in here is 3 of them, right? 4, 3 of them here. So if we had a buy, and this went all the way up, see, it's still 3. You'd need 3 red. So we had 3 red in here, but it actually went all red. So really, we don't have it. So I don't see anything. But you can't, if you got 3 of them, that's a reversal trade. I will take that trade because, let me see, we got to have one in here somewhere. right in, it's hard to see. We had a nice buy up to that point and went up, and then this is actually a reversal back down. So this reversal trade right in here, you could have taken it back down. It's kind of ugly looking on the 5 minute. I'm sure it looks better on a larger time frame. 5 minute, I don't think I would have messed with it. Let me go back here to the 30 and take a look. Let's see where we got all three. Okay, here's three here. So we had a nice buy trade, and it went up, 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 up. Right here, you got at least three, so that you could sell it away from the 50. So this is counter trend because everything's going up. That's counter trend. You can sell it away from the 50, and that was it. After that, it went all three green in here, and you could have bought. And even though you had a pullback, this is just showing the pullback, and it went back up, and it kept on going. But you got to remember, as long as the day chart is saying up, the trend is up. You're still going to have pullbacks. You're going to have very large pullbacks. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to trade. So, therefore, you want to go ahead, and that's why we have these in here to get you out. You take a buy trade, it exits you here automatically before that happens. After that, you take another, and if you took the sell trade back in here, it would have got you out of the trade with the green bar here. It would have pulled back up, came back down, got you out in here if you didn't exit yourself. Now, hopefully you're using price action, which these tweezer bottoms would have been a great reason to exit. And by looking left, you can see it lines up with structure that's over here. This is all stuff that we teach in our coaching course. So, if you don't understand it, maybe you need some coaching. Right now, we still have the boot camp still on sale. The video course still very inexpensive. And I'll give you a month in the trade room, so that would help you get while you go through that. You can go through and ask me any questions you want. So, it works out really nice. So this is structure. This is pulled back to it. So you knew this was probably the bottom because that's where you're at over here. So actually, you can see it was up a little bit higher. Probably the top of that one right in here. So that works out really good. See, this is an L formation. That's showing structure even back in here. So then we pulled back in there. We're looking for a buy. And if you did buy, you wouldn't want to buy until every three went green, and that would have got you going up, and then it pulled back again. This was just showing you when the pullback was done. So, but the main thing I want you to do is learn to trust your chart. So by looking at this, let's go back through it one more time. So let me go back to the 5 minute. I got carried away here. So as we go back, sorry, I lost it. There it is. We're at the same. I don't want to do that yet. We're the same location. So this is still, even on the 5 minute chart, this is the changeover. This is where we go from selling to buying. Very important to see that. Even now, we go to the 15 minute chart. It's going to stay the same. Nothing changes. It's still selling to buying. Yes, it's still a triangle. It's still a megaphone. This whole area, remember, is in a consolidation area, like a Wyckoff area, where we got the big banks are actually gathering everybody's money before they run. So this is going to be like the run we're looking for. Everybody's chasing the. So if you do smart money concept, you do fifth wave, you do Elliott wave, you do Gartley patterns, it's all the same. We're all looking for the same run in the market. And there it is right there. Very easy to spot that this is the point everything changes over. So you got to listen to what's down here, because this is telling you that we have the changeover and that we start to look for buys. Yes, you will get stopped out if you trade where you shouldn't be trading, and that's why you want to trade a little bit smaller. But once it breaks out and starts going, it's nothing but money. So you got to listen to your indicators. That's why we got them. These are for trend. This is going to be your 1 hour, 4 hour, and day chart. Very important. This is your triangle MACD. It's probably the best trending thing out there, and also your RSI crossing the 50. That's going to be your other best trend. So all those together are giving you actually the golden key to what's going on. So all you got to do is listen to this stuff, and you'll make money, and have patience and being willing to understand what is going on. And there's a lot of other knowledge that you need to know, but that's all stuff in the boot camp. And if you haven't been through that, it's definitely worth going through it. But hey, if you at least got the template, I'm hoping this video will help you understand it so you will make more money. And that's all I want you to do. All right, thank you so much, everybody. If you got any questions, you got anything, or need any help at all, I'm always here. And let's make money in the markets. All right, bye-bye.